This is Magikarp, and he's great. You're probably thinking right now, Bree, how is that non-shiny Magikarp any different from the others? I have dozens that look just like that. Yeah? Well, mine's bigger. So big, they call him Magikarp the Great. Let's talk about the new Jumbo and Mini marks in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. These marks are only given to Pokemon with the largest and smallest size values. And finding Pokemon who can have one of these marks is tougher than you might think. You can only find out by speaking to the woman with 2 Pachirisus in Mesagoza, closest to the Mesagoza West fast travel point. She will tell you how your Pokemon compares in size to others of its species. You see, all Pokemon have a hidden size value between 0 and 255, and her assessment dialogue will correspond to a certain range. She has 9 possible responses, but only 2 of them mean you get a mark. First up, there's the Mini Mark. A Pokemon with the Mini Mark will have the title the Teeny when it's sent into a trainer battle. You can only get the Mini Mark if your Pokemon's size value is exactly at a 0. The NPC will say, "Now this is a tiny Pokemon. Wow, you almost never see one this little." Now for the Jumbo Mark. A Pokemon with the Jumbo Mark will have the title the Great when it's sent into a trainer battle. You can only get the Jumbo Mark if your Pokemon's size value is exactly 255. The NPC will say, "Now this is a big Pokemon. Wow, you almost never see one this huge." To receive these marks, the NPC must say one of those 2 exact dialogues and you'll get a notification that you got the mark. I emphasize this because some of her other dialogues can be misleading and give you false hope, particularly for the extra large and extra small Pokemon ranges. There is unfortunately nothing you can do to change the size value of your Pokemon. Starting to see how tricky this is? Here are some important notes. Number 1. Any Pokemon species can be a 0, and any Pokemon species can be a 255. The size value is relative to a Pokemon's own kind. For example, your chances of getting a Jumbo Mark Pokemon won't increase just because you're catching Dondozos. A Dondozo can still be judged as average or even small. Number 2. Unfortunately, there is nowhere to check the Pokemon's exact size value in the game. However, you can visit Cerebee's page on size in Scarlet and Violet and find out the range your Pokemon falls into based on the NPC's assessment. Number 3. Your Pokemon can and will vary in size no matter how you get them. Whether you're catching wild, hatching eggs, or snagging Terra Raid Pokemon, it's possible for all of them to be eligible for a Jumbo or Mini Mark. So it's worth checking the size of any Pokemon you care about. Number 4. If your wild-caught Pokemon already came with a mark, it can still be eligible for a Jumbo or Mini Mark. I have seen Pokemon become double marked after checking its size. Whether or not your Pokemon already had a mark is not a predictor for whether it can be a Jumbo or a Mini. Number 5. It is not worth resetting on your second box legendary or the sub-legendaries in hopes of size differences. I've caught multiple copies of sub-legendaries with different natures and have checked their sizes. The NPC always says they are perfectly average sized. Please let me know in the comments if anyone has checked their legitimate self-caught sub-legendaries and noticed any size variations other than average. The last thing I want to talk about today is hunting for the Jumbo and Mini marks. They can certainly be difficult to find if you're not trying. I checked 10 boxes of Pokemon that I caught without using any Teensy or Humongo power, and not one was eligible for either mark. So what can you do to increase your chances? Well, you've probably noticed that Teensy Power and Humongo Power are meal powers that you can activate with sandwiches. People mostly ignore them, but you can get up to level 3 of either one with some research and the right ingredients. It is possible to make a sandwich that includes level 3 Sparkling Power, level 3 Tidal Power, and level 3 Teensy/Humongo Power. One way to do this is to start with 1 basil and 1 type-based ingredient. If you're hunting the Mini Mark, add 2 Sour Herba Mystica and 2 Horseradish. If you're hunting the Jumbo Mark, add 2 Spicy Herba Mystica and 2 Curry Powders instead. Understandably, a lot of people naturally prefer to use Encounter Power over Teensy or Humongo Power. This recipe is really for the most dedicated marked shiny hunters. These sandwiches work best when applied to outbreaks with 60 KOs, otherwise I wouldn't use it. Remember, these boosts only apply to catching wild Pokemon. Now, before you run out into the wild with that disgusting sandwich, I have to warn you that Humongo Power and Teensy Power will not guarantee Jumbo and Mini marks. It simply makes the Pokemon you catch much more likely to be on the large or small size value ranges. To test this, I caught 100 Magikarps in an outbreak while using level 3 Humongo power. Out of all that, I only got 5 Jumbo marks. I obviously had a small sample size here, and I hope more people will contribute their findings in the future, but I wanted to illustrate that hunting a shiny Jumbo or shiny mini Pokemon may take serious time commitment, even if you use the best possible boosts. If you didn't know about these marks before, I challenge you to check your shinies in Mesagoza today, and let me know in the comments if you had luck getting one of these elusive marks. And finally, if you learned something new today, consider dropping a sub on the channel. It really helps me out. Thank you all so much for watching, good luck hunting, and I'll see you next time.